Let's switch gears now, because as Reverend Sharpton mentioned a little earlier, yesterday, President Biden marked the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act. The landmark legislation, which had been signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 2nd, 1964, outlawed segregation in businesses, public schools, and other public places, and prohibited employers from discriminating on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Here's what some of President Biden said yesterday at the LBJ Presidential Library in Austin, Texas.
Over 50 years, the LBJ Foundation has convened this symposium to reflect one of the crowning achievements, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a defining moment that has since opened doors of opportunities for all Americans, regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, national origin. Together with the Voting Rights Act and the Fair Housing Act, these three landmark laws he signed are remarkable in their scale and their scope. Taken together, these three acts have made this nation fundamentally more fair, fundamentally more just, and most importantly, fundamentally more consistent with our founding principles. For real. And we're a better nation because of them. We must be clear. Their work, our work, is not done. It's not done. We do not celebrate these laws as part of our past, but as critical components of our future.
And joining us now, President and CEO of the LBJ Foundation and presidential historian, Mark Updegrove. Mark, good to see you this morning. Certainly, President Johnson and President Biden in the spotlight yesterday. Tell us what this moment means.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act should be celebrated. The Civil Rights Act, as President Johnson said, there's this triumvirate of laws that was signed by Lyndon Johnson, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968, all signed in the wake of tragedies. The Civil Rights Act, after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Lyndon Johnson used his martyrdom to get it into law. The Voting Rights Act, after Bloody Sunday, the thwarted march from Selma to Montgomery on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, led by John Lewis, and the Fair Housing Act after the assassination of Martin Luther King. But all of them fundamentally allowed us to leap into a new era. You don't have our most sacred creed of all men are created equal without the Civil Rights Act of 1965, or the full flower of our democracy without the Voting Rights Act, Jonathan. So every year we commemorate the Civil Rights Act. It's really, in so many ways, it's as important as our founding documents, because we don't live up to our creed as a nation until those laws are signed in the 1960s.
Mark, as I sat there at the ceremony yesterday, and congratulations on a great ceremony, and as I heard President Biden speak, I thought about how Lyndon Johnson really didn't in his lifetime get the credit that he should have gotten, that he certainly is beginning to get because of people like you now. He was overshadowed in his last years with the Vietnam War protests, which I as a teenager was part of. But he really changed the fundamentals of this country, and those kinds of changes are under threat today. The right to vote we're seeing in many ways curtailed, and what we see in the Civil Rights Act. Talk about how it was important for this president, who just stepped aside from running, and Lyndon Johnson did move toward real substantive change at a time that they may have had other issues overshadow their accomplishments.
You know, Reverend, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say hello to you yesterday. You're absolutely right. Lyndon Johnson did not get credit for these things because of the long shadow of Vietnam that shrouded his legacy for so long. And the passions around Vietnam were so deep. And it is a failed part of Lyndon Johnson's legacy. But if you look at that legislative record, it creates the foundation for modern America. But as you point out, Reverend, so many of those laws are being undone. The Voting Rights Act has been infamously gutted through the years. Head Start is on the table to be eliminated. There are so many things that we take for granted in this nation that came in the 1960s that are under threat today. So you're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons that we want to mark occasions like this, to show where America was 60 years ago and how far we've come. But as Barack Obama said 10 years ago, when we marked the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, history not only travels forward, history can travel backward, history can travel sideways. We take leaps forward as a nation, but we often take big steps back. And I think that's what has happened since the very progressive laws that Lyndon Johnson signed in the 1960s.
And that's certainly what we heard from President Biden yesterday as well. President and CEO of the LBJ Foundation, presidential historian Mark Updegrove. Mark, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us this morning.